Greetings and salutations to you all once again. It is me, the Ravenous Spectre. Anyways, pardon me. This is what the video is going to be about today. It's kind of been a video I've kind of been wanting to make for a while, but I just haven't. And it kind of deals with what is your preferred method of playing a game? Is it controller or is it mouse and keyboard? Now, I have friends who play PC. I have friends who play consoles. And both of them would probably argue one over the other. But I guess there's really pros and cons to both. One pro in particular, at least when it comes to the way of PC gaming, is they all have always mentioned when you play first-person shooters, mouse and keyboard is the way to go. Because you get precise aiming and precision shots or whatever on your enemies. And it's a heck of a lot easier to control than it is with a controller. And I can see that. I have done that before. But then again, I'll just go ahead and say it. My preferred method of play is really controller because I've tried both. I've tried, which is kind of funny because I played World of Warcraft for the longest time. I can't even tell you how long I played it for. I played it for quite a long time. All the stories I could tell dealing with World of Warcraft, and obviously I had to use mouse and keyboard. How in the world I managed? Well, I think one reason how I managed to do it like I did was I didn't use all of my keys. I didn't use a whole lot of mods either. I didn't. I really didn't. I used a few, but that was it. But I kind of really just, I guess I really tried to keep it as simple for me as possible instead of me going all over the keyboard. That's what I did when I was playing. I would use the mouse, obviously, but I would kind of just use a few or like a handful of buttons really to do my attacks and my abilities and my powers or magic or what have you, and items and things of that nature. But that's pretty much what I had done. I never utilized everything across the keyboard. Um, and yeah, I guess maybe that was one thing that kind of handicapped me in terms of me possibly getting into some good raids and some good dungeons and things, which I went into a lot of dungeons. I only been into like 2 raids or something, but I never actually completed a raid. Completed many dungeons, though, that's for sure, with alternative characters and also regular, my main characters. And I was wondering, I was like, what would it be like to play World of Warcraft with a controller? And I thought, I think it could really happen. If Blizzard ever thought about ever bringing World of Warcraft to console, for example, I think it could possibly work. Because look at Final Fantasy XIV, for example. Look at Neverwinter. Look at Elder Scrolls Online. That's just 3 examples. It seems like they've really managed to map the buttons that need to be mapped to the controller, and it works out really well. At least from my perspective, it has. So I thought to myself, maybe Blizzard could actually do that with the controller dealing with consoles nowadays too. It would really be a feat, I think, for Blizzard to bring World of Warcraft over to consoles, especially knowing how long the damn thing's been out. And they already got a new expansion out for it, which is Legion, which I'm kind of thinking about getting back into World of Warcraft for that, but that's a different thing altogether. Um, but yeah, I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on it? I mean, maybe most of you would say controller. I guess probably maybe because a lot of you are probably collectors or you play on console a lot. I know that some of you out there play on PC as well, or are you just PC exclusive or you console exclusive? What's the whole shindig with that? Because there was also keyboards and mouses. Keyboards and mice that was released for consoles in the past as well as up to now too. Matter of fact, a friend of mine ended up sending me a link, as a matter of fact, dealing with such, how there was like a little tiny keyboard and a mouse, and I think it was for the PlayStation 4. I really don't know exactly. Probably you would use that for first-person shooters. I don't really know what else you would use it. Well, like I just mentioned before, Final Fantasy 14, you probably just as well use it for that too. Um, but yeah, when it comes to me, I mainly want to use a controller because everything is all tightly fit right there in your hand. You just need to, this is basically your movement right here. Instead of being all the way spaced out like this and moving this and doing all of this, kind of like that, all over the place. Um, well, that depends on the game you're playing, I suppose. Pretty much with a controller is you're just like this, and that's what I like. It's very comfortable for me. It's much easier to use. But yeah, it's just like, for example, when I'm playing PC games, I always want to go after games that can let me use a controller because I love using the controller. I don't mind playing on PC at all. Hell, I'm playing Final Fantasy IX on PC right now, and I'm playing Skyrim with mods as well. And I'm using a controller for both of those. So, you know, there you go. I think the only thing that really sucks, though, is playing with a controller on Skyrim is it when you want to have a third-person view on your character, it's like it is on console. It kind of just like, it goes behind them, but it probably only shows from maybe like their lower back and up on the left side of the screen, which I thought was just stupid as hell. Especially when they did that on console, because they did it with Fallout 4 and they did it with Skyrim, you know. But it happens on PC too if you use a controller. Now, if you use a mouse and a keyboard, you can zoom all the way out. Which, hell, why the hell couldn't you do that in the console versions? There's many games out there where if you play, whether it's just a third-person game in general, or if it's a first-person game where you can go in third person, you have the ability to move the camera back. Maybe not necessarily scroll it back, but say for example like with the GTA series, you had a button you could press where it would probably go about 3 or 4 different camera lengths back, and it could give you a really wide view of your surroundings. Why the hell this couldn't have been done with, say, Skyrim and Fallout 4 and Skyrim when they were released is beyond me, but I thought it was really freaking stupid. And why that can't happen on PC too, I don't know. I don't get it. I'm like, why in the hell are you gonna give me the option to play in third person when my character is over here and I'm fighting over here and the enemies are over here? Why in the hell can't I be right here and zoom out and then see everything in front of me like I could on PC? I sure as hell can do that in other games on console. Why the hell couldn't I do it? You know, I guess I'm just kind of ranting a little bit there because that's like one of my favorite games, which is Skyrim. And I'm just kind of sitting there, and Fallout 4, I'm just like, oh my god. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, obviously, considering the fact that I grew up with consoles, I really just love playing on the controller just as well, obviously. And while in my opinion, I feel like the PlayStation 1 is the greatest console of all time because it has so many titles and so many great titles that's out there, that was really the console that really got me into the forefront of gaming. I mean, yeah, you know, I played Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and all of that, but when it really came down to it, the PlayStation was really the thing that just wanted to grab me and pull me right into there. And this does have to do with consoles. I'm not trying to go off on another subject here. I'm talking about fucking controllers in your fucking hands. But it's like, when I first got a hold of the PlayStation controller, I was like, you know what, this is it. This is the controller that really makes me feel like I'm really having some real input in a game. I mean, the previous controllers that I've used, like say on Genesis and Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo and things like that, even N64, we ain't gonna go into N64. You know, I think the original Wii controller is the worst controller of all time, whether it be a motion sensor on that. You know, I think it's the worst controller of all time, period, out of every controller I've used in existence. But it's like when I use but that's a different thing. I think I said that in another video as well. But the regular Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, obviously you kind of went from like a little oval shapes, you know, like babe, like this, like hold it like that, and it's connected. Anyways, and then of course you had just the brick, you know, the rectangle of the regular Nintendo, and then the Genesis was like sloped around like a boomerang or something. Not talking about the PS3's boomerang controller that was a prototype. I think it was PS3. It was either PS3 or PS4. I think it was PS3. Yeah, it was definitely PS3, which I thought it was a cool concept, but it would have been kind of weird to hold it, you know. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I thought it might have been a little bit better to kind of have that controller than with the PS3 because it seems like you would have had better grips on it and it would have been able to actually compete with the Xbox 360 controller, because a lot of people are like, oh, the Xbox 360 controller is so amazing. Yeah, it's a great controller. I mean, yeah, but you still can't put out the PlayStation ones because I still think that they're good controllers just as well. And it's good that the PlayStation 4 has the concave thumbsticks now. It's really good that they have that because they didn't have that with the previous ones. And that was one of the complaints that was from gamers, like, hey, you know, Xbox has this, so why can't we have this with PlayStation? Because it really does kind of give you more control over it, like you're actually sticking your fingers inside of the two sticks a little bit and kind of having a better motion of control. And I can understand why people think that the 360 and the Xbox One controller would be better because of that function. And when PlayStation 4 finally got to that point, I was like, oh yeah, this is better. This is better than the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation two versions of their controllers, which I think they might have had some third-party controllers that had that. I'm not necessarily sure because, oh my god, there was so many freaking third-party bullshit that came out there. It was beyond belief. But, anyways, yeah. That's kind of the main thing. I haven't made a video in a while, so I want to go ahead and make this, and I want to have a discussion with people, you know, to my subscribers, to new people that come here and see the channel and see the videos and whatnot. You know, I wanted people to just I try to make discussion videos. I want to reach out to other gamers. I want to talk to my peoples. Talk to my people, the gamers, the geeks, the nerds, all of it. You know, just that's another reason for me making these videos, is reaching out there and just talking to people. You know, making new friends, meeting new people, talking to new people, everybody, just a whole big party of nerds and geeks and gamers. I can't fucking talk because it's 1:19 in the fucking morning. Can't talk. Anyway, fuck it. But yeah, this is, so leave comments below. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe, do whatever. Leave comments below. We can have a discussion. And we'll just go from there. I'm thinking maybe mostly people might kind of lean more towards controllers, but we'll see. You know, you never know who might pop up in the wonderful world of YouTube land. World of YouTube land. If it's a land, it's a land. A world is a world. The world of YouTube. Whatever. The land of YouTube. Whatever. I'm not trying to get all punctual here with my fucking English. God. But, anyways. I'm spazzing out. I've lost it. But, yeah, so anyways, just go ahead and leave some comments below, and we'll definitely get a little discussion going on regarding it. But, yeah, I mean, controllers are the way to go for me. It's much more easier to use. The function is a lot more better. I like having everything right here instead of everything out like here. I don't understand how I managed to play World of Warcraft like I did as much as I did, because that's the only PC game that I know of that I have played the most of, like, ever. I mean, I used to play the older Warcraft games back in the 90s, but World of Warcraft is just like, whew. I think it just knocked those out of the park, knowing the long gameplay sessions that I had with it. So, anyways. But I'll go ahead and end this now. Later, taters.